move through just off to the north into parts of Montgomery County and over towards parts of Frederick County, Damascus, down into Rockville, Fairland, all seeing much of this widespread steady rain up into Taneytown rather, down into Libertytown and Mount Airy. Thankfully, all just dealing with rain because we did have a little bit of a mix earlier today, but we'll head west a bit, and still these areas west of I-81 where temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark, we are still getting reports of sleet and some light icing from Cumberland all the way along Berkeley Springs. Some really difficult travel on I-40 right now, a mix from Romney down into Cross Junction and Winchester. Some other parts of northern Virginia seeing a mix over towards Front Royal and Upperville. Temperatures are a little bit closer to the freezing mark in these areas, so even though radar is picking up on a wintry mix, it might just be raining, but I do feel a little bit more confident that, again, those areas west of I-81 over towards Matthias and Baker, temperatures are a bit cooler. Right now you're looking at a map of our current temperatures, and all of those areas you see shaded there in that light blue, that's indicating temperatures below the freezing mark. So thankfully most areas well above the freezing mark in the 40s, reporting 55 degrees right now in DC, 46 in Manassas, 56 down into Waldorf, 45 in Frederick. But again, the farther west you go, the closer to the freezing mark you get. Right now getting a report of 33 degrees in Front Royal. So a really close call if you are in those areas that are picking up on some light icing and sleet, but thankfully most areas just dealing with rain at this hour. As we head through the next several hours, we will start to see some improvement, but for the time being, we do still have that flood watch in effect for DC and surrounding counties until 1 a.m. That's the darker green shading you see, and again, a flood warning has been issued for parts of Fairfax, Loudoun County, and points south and west, where we did just have some really steady rain roll through. I would not be entirely surprised to see another flood warning or two issued, where we're continuing to see those really heavy downpours moving through parts of DC and points north and west as we head through the late evening hours. And we have already picked up more than enough rain. This is a look at the rainfall we've seen throughout the day today. And when you get closer to Leesburg, down into Warrenton, Culpeper, back toward Frederick in that purple shading, that's where we've seen 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Now, these are radar estimates. We don't have exact numbers quite yet for accumulation, but it gives us an idea of around how much rain we've seen. Everywhere you see shaded there in blue, that's where a radar estimated 1 to 2 inches of rain has fallen. Elsewhere, you can see around a half an inch up to an inch of rain, but we still have a few more hours of these really locally heavy downpours, and it will continue to pile on. That's why the flood watch remains in effect until 1 o'clock this morning. Now again, most of the overnight hours are going to be mainly dry. We'll catch a little bit of a break from the rain, but then as the Arctic cold front pushes through tomorrow morning, very early tomorrow morning, we'll see a final burst of moisture that starts as rain where temperatures are above freezing, but quickly flips to snow because temperatures are going to crash throughout the day tomorrow. We are going to see a very rapid drop in temperatures as we head throughout the day tomorrow, dropping from the 40s down into the teens and single digits as we head throughout the day tomorrow, and that could cause some flash freezing issues. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. We're also going to see some really gusty wind pick up as we head throughout the day. We'll talk more about a wind advisory in effect for most of our area, also a high wind warning. So let's start by taking you hour by hour through the day tomorrow and really all the way into the weekend, because the next 24 hours are really going to be the critical time of when we see the biggest changes and the biggest concerns for anyone hitting the roads traveling. We know a lot of folks are going to be heading out for the holidays this weekend, and we do want to help you get to your destination safely because, again, a very dynamic forecast with a number of threats as we head throughout the evening tonight, throughout the day tomorrow, and even into the weekend. So here we are again, 11 o'clock, mostly scattered showers, temperatures still well above freezing through the overnight. Not a whole lot in terms of precipitation, but then here we are, 6 a.m. We start to see that leading edge of the cold front. And again, where temperatures are still above freezing, we're talking about some rain. And thankfully, I think most of this moisture makes its way into the DC and surrounding counties after the morning commute. But as you're heading out for your morning drive tomorrow, be sure sure to check in with Chester. He'll be tracking those changing conditions because they are going to change very quickly as we head throughout your Friday morning forecast. Notice for areas west of I-81 over into Romney, Oakland, Davis, temperatures already well below the freezing mark, and that's where we'll see that flip to snow. Now, ahead of this cold front, there's going to be some really dynamic wind, a whole lot of available moisture. So when we see the rain and eventually snow move through, it is going to bring down a lot of snow in a really short period of time. It may limit visibility. It will quickly coat roads. We're not talking about much in terms of accumulation, but minor slushy accumulation, possibly up to an inch of snow, depending upon where you are, is possible as we head throughout Friday morning. This is right around 8-9 o'clock. That cold front sitting just over D.C., about to cross over 95. You can see where the front is by the differing winds. You can see on the western side of the front, winds coming in from the west. On the eastern side, still coming in from the south. And look at the change in temperatures. 45 degrees in D.C., while it's 27 in Frederick, and already in the single digits for actual temperatures in Oakland by 8 a.m. tomorrow. 5 degrees for a current temperature, 25 in Front Royal. As that front continues to push through, temperatures are just going to crash. I do think most of the moisture clears out of here around lunchtime. This is right around 10:30. I think this model in particular clears it out a little too soon. I think we could still see some snow showers until around 1 p.m. tomorrow. But notice how quickly temperatures continue to drop down into the teens for Romney, back into Martinsburg and Frederick. 19 by late tomorrow morning in Front Royal. 20s for D.C., 27 down into La Plata, and as we head throughout the day, whereas temperatures typically warm, they will continue to fall throughout the afternoon. This is right around 12:30. Most of that snow clearing out of here, maybe a few lingering flakes as you're stepping out for lunchtime, but then notice what happens as we fast forward the clock to around 3 p.m. Temperatures in the teens for Frederick down into Leesburg and Manassas. The wind will be whipping at this point throughout the afternoon. 22 degrees in D.C., 24 in La Plata. Fast forward to 6 p.m. Maybe you're wrapping up your workday, looking to hit the roads for the holidays. Temperature is going to be in the single digits for Martinsburg, back into Frederick, all the way into Hancock. Actual temperatures sub-zero in far western Maryland, 9 below in Oakland, 5 degrees in Front Royal, 17 in La Plata. We are talking about the coldest air mass of the season, the coldest air mass in a really long time, that will continue to settle in as we head toward Friday evening. 11 o'clock tomorrow night, if you're checking back in with us, actual temperatures in the single digits. We are talking about really potentially dangerous colds as we head into the holiday weekend. This is the type of cold where you need to make sure you take some preparations around the house, protect your pipes, be sure to open up the cabinets under your faucets to help keep it a little bit warmer and help prevent any pipe issues, especially if you're heading out of town. Make sure you're checking in on the elderly, pets, everyone that needs a little extra attention when temperatures do get this cold, because as they continue to drop, they're going to stay cold as we head into the weekend. This is right around 7 a.m. on Saturday. Maybe you're heading out for some Christmas Eve travel. Actual temperatures in the single digits. Feels like temperatures sub-zero, so packing up the car, doing anything outside is going to be incredibly cold and potentially dangerous. We don't say this to scare you, but this is not the type of cold that we see regularly here in this region. A lot of folks aren't prepared for cold temperatures like this, especially when you factor in the wind chill. We're going to take a closer look at those wind chill temperatures, those feels like temperatures, in just a minute. But first, we do want to show you by Saturday afternoon, really not much improvement. Actual temperatures only make it back into the teens and low 20s, right around 14 degrees in Martinsburg, 11 in Romney, 16 for a high temperature on Saturday. It is going to be a bitter cold Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day, not a whole lot better. We'll start the day off in the single digits and teens and only climb into the 20s for high temperatures. Now let's talk also about the wind, because like I mentioned, a lot of folks under a wind advisory for tomorrow for winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. That's everyone you see shaded there in yellow. Areas off to the west, parts of the Shenandoah, the Blue Ridge, even parts of Frederick County, Maryland, over towards Hagerstown and down through Martinsburg under a high wind warning. That's for gusts up to 60 miles per hour, where we could see some more widespread widespread power outage issues. Please make sure you charge your devices tonight and prepare to potentially lose power as we head throughout the day. We're going to see a prolonged period throughout the morning and into the afternoon where wind gusts will frequently approach, if not surpass, 50 to 55 miles per hour, where that high wind warning is in effect. Elsewhere, we'll see frequent gusts of 35 to up to 45 miles per hour, potentially 50, but I do think any 50-plus mile per hour gusts would be incredibly isolated if you have not done so already. I know it is raining outside there this evening, maybe early tomorrow morning. Take a minute, either secure or bring in holiday decorations, anything around the house that can be easily blown away, because we are talking about that type of wind. So one, prepare your house, and two, prepare your devices just in case we do lose power. And keep in mind, if you do lose power, it's going to take crews a while before they can get back up in the buckets. They need to be able to safely do so once the wind diminishes, which really doesn't look until Saturday afternoon. So please prepare and be patient if you do lose power. Let's take a closer look at those wind gusts. This is right around 3:15 tomorrow. I do think we start to see the strongest wind pick up by late morning, but this gives you the idea that around and after lunchtime, we are still going to be dealing with those winds gusting 35 to 45 miles per hour. Don't focus so much on the individual wind gust you see in any particular town, just the idea that we will see these frequent, potentially damaging wind gusts over in our western counties, far western Maryland, West Virginia, closer to the mountains. That's where we'll see those winds gusting 50 to 55, even up to 60 miles per hour. Here we are, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Not a whole lot of improvement. It won't be as windy as it will be throughout the late morning and early afternoon, but still seeing winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour. Of course, higher still out toward the mountains. The wind advisory is in effect all the way through tomorrow night and even for some early Saturday morning. This is 7 a.m. on Saturday. A noticeable breeze going to be adding insult to injury to those already really cold temperatures. It's really not until Saturday afternoon and evening when we start to catch a real break and the wind really starts to diminish. So we've talked about the rain, we've talked about the flip to snow, the cold temperatures, the gusty wind, now the wind chills, because we do have a wind chill advisory in effect for everywhere. You see shaded there in pink pretty much our entire DMV. That's for wind chills that will be sub-zero, about 10 to 15 below zero is what it will feel like to your exposed skin. So again, we're talking about the type of wind chill that you need to dress appropriately for. Limit your time outside. It is going to be bitterly cold and potentially dangerous. Now, where you see that shading of blue through parts of the Shenandoah and our far western counties over toward the Blue Ridge, that's where we have a wind chill warning for feels like temperatures that may approach 45 degrees below zero for a feels like temperature. So once you factor in the actual temperature, which for these areas will already be sub-zero as is, but then you factor in the wind gusting 40 to 50, even 60 miles per hour, and it could feel as cold as 45 degrees below. That's where we have a wind chill warning in effect. So let's take a closer look at those feels like temperatures and what you need to prepare for before you even step outside tomorrow, because it is going to be so different if you're stepping outside for your morning commute, say around 7, 8 o'clock. Temperatures will be in the 40s, but by the time you come home in the afternoon, actual temperatures falling through the 20s into the teens. So make sure you dress accordingly or pack accordingly before you step outside tomorrow morning. So not a big wind chill factor forecast as of 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, but fast forward to around lunchtime. Maybe you're stepping out around 12 p.m. Temperatures will be falling. It will already feel like the single digits across the region, already feeling sub-zero back into Cumberland and Romney, feeling like 15 below in Romney by lunchtime tomorrow, feeling like the single digits for Manassas, back into Leesburg, 1 degree for a feels like temperature in Gaithersburg. But what happens as we head throughout the afternoon? Temperatures continue to fall, wind continues to pick up, and it is going to feel sub-zero for most areas by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, feeling like 12 below in Winchester, 21 below in Romney, 4 below in Manassas, and you get the picture as we head through the later evening hours. Temperatures will only continue to drop. The wind chill will be a factor. This is right around 7 a.m., feeling like 10 below in Leesburg, 8 below in Gaithersburg, 8 below in Andrews. So you understand why we not only have the wind chill advisory in effect effect, but why we are repeatedly saying that this is the type of cold where you need to be careful. Check on loved ones, elderly, youth, pets, everyone that does need attention when it comes to really cold temperatures like this. It can be very dangerous for your health. Here we are Saturday afternoon. The wind thankfully starts to diminish, but actual temperatures, again, only in the teens and 20s, so it's not going to take much for them to feel colder than they actually are. Maybe you're heading out on Saturday afternoon for any Christmas Eve plans. It's going to feel like 7 degrees in Leesburg, 5 in Gaithersburg, feeling like the low teens for DC, down into Manassas, 10 degrees for a feels like temperature in Andrews. So tomorrow, temperatures crashing throughout the day. Do not wake up, look at the thermometer, think, oh, 45 degrees, that's not bad. By the end of the day, temperatures will be in the teens and even in some cases, single digits. We start the day with a burst of rain. It quickly flips to snow, and while it may be brief, we'll say it again that snow could be really heavy at times. Snow squall warnings not out of the question if we see that visibility reduced, if we see enough snow pile on in a short period of time. And we know that the most dangerous time to be on the roads is while that snow is occurring. So if you can, please just stay home tomorrow morning. Let crews get out and do their job, because the other factor of the forecast, as we mentioned, is the flash freezing. Any leftover ponding or puddles, which there are no shortage of given how much rain we're seeing and how little the ground is absorbing because it's frozen, that has the potential to flash freeze as temperatures continue to drop throughout the day. My hope is that the wind will help dry up any damp surfaces. We know that to be the case, but we also just have so much moisture continuing to fall right now. So many areas of ponding that we're dealing with this evening that we have to hope that they will dry up, or else they will freeze as we head throughout the day tomorrow. A look at the 7-day forecast. Of course, we have issued a weather watch alert for tomorrow. Crashing temperatures, rain flipping to snow, high wind, dangerous wind chills. The wind chills will stick around for Saturday as well. Now, thankfully, it will be a bright, beautiful day, but you need to dress accordingly. That Arctic cold air sticks around throughout the day and even into Christmas Day, with temperatures starting off in the single digits and teens and only climbing into the mid to upper 20s. We all stay below freezing on Christmas Day, but then thankfully we do start to climb as we head into next week. Day by day, temperatures getting warmer and warmer with a nice blend of sunshine and clouds. An early look ahead to New Year's Eve, and temperatures could approach the 60-degree mark. So we were talking about a really wild temperature swing. If we can, I'll get you back to radar here to give you one more look at what we're seeing right now, because again, we do still have that flood warning in effect. Bear with me as I back our graphics up here and get you back to radar. We'll show you where the flood warning remains in effect. And again, would not be surprised to see another flood warning or two issued as we head throughout the evening, because we are still dealing with some really locally heavy rain, at least for the next 2 to 3 hours. That's why the flood watch in effect until 1 a.m. Here we are. We'll get you back to radar and get one more check-in on what we're dealing with right now. As of right now, just that one flood warning in effect for parts of Manassas, Fairfax, Loudoun, and Prince William County. You can see the heaviest rain has cleared out of that area. It doesn't look like we have any additional flood warnings at this time. And where we see that deeper shade of yellow, orange, and red back through parts of Montgomery County, crossing into Howard County, that's where we have the steadiest rain right now. Elsewhere, still just dealing with that widespread nuisance rain. So we'll continue to keep an eye on conditions. Of course, have a live update with some brand new information coming up on WUSA 9 News at 11, and we'll help you get through the commute tomorrow and all of the threats that follow the rain and snow, and help you get to your holiday destination safely. In the meantime, have a good night.